Hi again from the Canon Academy Homeschool. I am a homeschooling grandmother. I just wanted to go over some of the books that the kids that I'm homeschooling have been reading through the summer. Um, so my youngest granddaughter is 8.5, and she reads at 5th and 6th grade level. And at my house, she has read some of the Roald Dahl silly series, and all of them at her house. She has also read Ramona and Beezus. She likes Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Um, and I think she's also read a couple of those books at my daughter's house when she's visited there. And she now has one that she won with her reading points in the summer reading club at the library. She picked a book. Yeah, kudos to her. She does like Dogman, and she's read a few books from the Warrior series. She likes a lot of science books, music, and poetry books. She actually sings the poetry, which is really interesting to hear. She's also into American Girl books. Her brother, who just turned 7, he reads at end of third grade, beginning 4th grade. Um, he reads his King Kong encyclopedias. He has 2 dinosaur encyclopedias at his home too, and he doesn't just look at the pictures. He actually reads the stuff around them, because he will come back and say, "Did you know this about such and such?" He remarked one day that he doesn't just look at the pictures now, but he reads what it says. He also said he doesn't particularly like chapter books, but he was upset when his sister took one of the Warrior series books that she had taken out of the library when she visited my daughter, who is a librarian, back to the library. So I thought that was rather cute. He falls back on books that he likes that are very easy to read, like Mouse Soup and sometimes Pete the Cat. So we're all trying to encourage him to read more challenging books, and he does like the Dogman books too. They're graphic novels, kind of. It's kind of like, and at first I wasn't so keen on any of these kind of books because they're comics. And then I thought, everybody's right. We read comic books just for fun. So I'm working past it, because what they are is like a bunch of Dogman comic books rolled into one, done as chapters. So he knows that there are chapters, and even though he doesn't like chapter books per se, he will read those, and he brags about what chapter he's in. They both of these two have read a 2-in-1 book I have. Sorry, I have notes to make sure I say all this, called My Big Fat Zombie Goldfish, and when you flip it over it says the sequel. Then my oldest great grandson just turned 9, and I'm sorry, I couldn't read my notes. So I did get a late start with him as far as teaching him to read and everything. So because of COVID, when he was in kindergarten, it all went online, and no one actually sat with him at first while he was on with the teacher. So he wasn't learning things. And when my granddaughter did finally sit down with him, she realized he hadn't learned anything. And like, this was almost all the way through the first semester of school. So she just pulled him out. I mean, in our state, they don't technically have to go to school until they're 7. So she pulled him out, but I did not get him until April of the year that he turned 6. And I only had him for 2 hours a day, 2 days a week. So it was slow going. Now we're up to 5 days a week, and I have him sometimes 4 hours a day, which if he's by himself, we can get school done in an hour and a half because we work straight through with no breaks. But on days I have all of them, I like to work individually with them and then also have group lessons and things. And so his reading is coming along. He's at the same place that my 7-year-old grandson is. He's third grade level, probably more towards the middle of it though. But he still chooses books that he's more comfortable with too, like Mouse Soup and things. But at home, he's reading Goosebump books, or at least he did through the summer with his mom. Here, he has picked up the Dogman books and read them. He even started reading one of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books from the library. Now, he and the 7-year-old both checked out a book called Captain Underpants. They started reading it and kind of put it back on the shelf, so I'm thinking they may not have liked it. And then, as a group, I am reading a book called Smiling Hill Farm, which takes place in our state. It is fictional, though. It's kind of historical fiction because it leads you through how the family came here in a covered wagon and set up a half-face camp where they build structure into a hill and it's open-faced on one side, and that's where the fire is, where they cook, and it's made to heat up that area, things like that. And it talks about how the family and the farm progress over the years and things, and how a stagecoach comes into play, and then a train, and how they take the barges and things up and down the river down to New Orleans and things like that, and all kinds of celebrations and catastrophes like a flood and stuff. And at first the kids didn't like it, but now they do. And we actually have little journals. They're about the size of this notebook, but like at the top of the page it's blank so they can draw a picture, and then there's a place for them to write 1 or 2 sentences at least. Now, when they first got the book, they started writing their own little stories in and drawing pictures, which is fine. I still let them do that. They're allowed to do that whenever they want. But sometimes when I read this story to them, they get out their journals and they'll draw a picture of what they're hearing me say and stuff, get their interpretation. And it shows in their playtime and stuff, the different books they're reading and hearing. So that's what they were reading during the summer. I will have another video here shortly that will be posted also of a book list that they gave me of books they want to read. So I hope this is very helpful to people out there, give you some ideas of books to maybe help get your kids interested in reading. I'm a big fan of reading. I consider myself a keeper of books. And yes, that does mean banned books. There are banned books on my shelf, even banned children's books, and they will be read. So from the Cannon Academy Homeschool, I will see you next time.